Welcome back to our data analysis IGCSE ICT video series. So today we are going to be looking at some of the formulas that come with Microsoft Excel. So we call these formulas functions. So okay, let me quickly format this spreadsheet here. We will use this spreadsheet. Okay, it's just this is just a spreadsheet showing student marks. So we'll be calculating student marks for this particular students here. So we'll quickly do the formatting. Okay, maybe I want to decrease this. Okay, so we will be looking at, okay, maybe I also want maybe to change this and make it a table. So I'll click here to add borders, all borders, yeah, so that it looks pretty nice. Okay, let me do this for this as well. So yeah, okay, maybe let me bold this. Okay, give it maybe a background, another background. Okay, let's say a light gray background. Okay, maybe a darker one. Okay, let's give it a darker one. Okay, then white text here so that it looks beautiful. Okay, so we want, maybe let's say you are a teacher, you want to calculate average for maybe this first two tests for your students, or you want to get who was the highest, or okay, and many other things that you can look for. So today we'll just look at some of this function. Okay, the first one, okay, that we are going to look at is the simplest one, the sum function. Okay, let's say we have, okay, maybe let me insert another row here. So let's say I want to get the total for this range of cells here. I want to calculate the total, I want to get the sum for this range here. So, and show it in this cell, show it in B13. So I will simply type equal sign. So to get the sum, I will use a function called sum. So as you see, as I'm typing here, Microsoft Excel gives me functions that have the word sum. So I want this one, just sum. I will double click it. Okay, the sum function is a function that will give me a sum of a given range. So I will then select this. So you click here, hold, and then select the range, or just click and then hold shift on your keyboard, then you click the last cell, then you close your bracket. Okay, then you close your bracket and then you press enter. So the sum here is 566. Okay, that's how we use the sum function. Okay, maybe we do not want the sum for this one. Okay, another way of entering formulae in Microsoft Excel. So let's say we want an average for this column for all the students, the class average here. So we want the class average here. So we will use what we call the average function. So I said you can type formulas in the formula bar as well. So you can click here, select this cell, and then click the formula bar, inside the formula bar, so that the insertion point here, as you see it, is blinking here inside the formula bar, so that you can be able to enter text. So every function in Microsoft Excel, we say it starts with the equal sign. So it's equal sign. I'm looking for an average function, so I'm typing average. So here are average functions, so I'm looking for this one. I will double click it. It gives me, next to this average function, it gives me a detail of what this function does. maybe if you've forgotten the name of the function, then this one will actually give you what this function does. So the average function returns average or arithmetic mean of arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays, or references that contain numbers. Okay, so use the average function. I will double click it and then select here. Okay, and then look at this magic. You can press enter without maybe typing in the bracket. So Microsoft Excel will then place the bracket here for me. So this is the class average for this cell. So I can do the same for test 2. I can do the same for test 2, but Microsoft Excel comes with a very useful feature. It comes with a very useful feature. This feature, you can just click at the bottom of this corner so that maybe this cross appears, this blackish cross. Okay, see the cursor here is a little much different. So this cross here is a white one. So when I click here, or when I place my mouse here, the cursor changes into this cross. So I can click and drag to the side. So Microsoft Access will give me the average for this. It's quite interesting because the average maybe is 62 for both. Okay, maybe let's change one mark and see if okay, yeah, maybe 61, a little bit different now. So yeah, these are the averages. So we call that replicating. So we call that replicating, the clicking of this here and then dragging to the right. So if you look at this formula now, you check the formula up here in the formula bar, it now says C4 to C12, which is C4. This is C4 to C12. Okay, be careful of this, what I've done just now, because if if you click inside this formula and maybe click another cell, then you see there's this L8 now. When I press enter, now this trouble comes. So if if you get an error like this, don't panic and try to fix it. Just remove everything from here and start afresh, maybe. Okay, we're supposed to use what? The average function, AVG, average. Okay, maybe let's look another way, the third way of entering a function. Third way of entering a function. So I click here and then click this insert function button, F with a small letter X. Okay, click here and then I search for the function. If maybe let's say I'm not sure of the function, so make sure you change here that you want all functions. Okay, you can scroll here to look for the one you're looking for, average. This is average, but also you can come here, remove this text and search for the one you are looking for, average. Then I click go. So this is average here. I double click. Okay, and now this window appears here. So I want an average. Okay, maybe let me remove this. I want an average for this cell. Press and hold shift on my keyboard to this cell. Then I click OK. That is another way of entering formulae in Microsoft Excel. Okay, looks interesting. Yeah, I know it really looks interesting. Okay, now let's get average maybe for all the students. So okay, equal sign, average. This is average. Okay, so I want average for mark test 1 and test 2, then close bracket, then press enter. So this is the average for the student for test 1 and test 2. I can replicate by clicking at the corner. The cursor has to change to be a cross, a black cross, not the white one. Okay, then I drag, click, hold and drag across the cells that I want to paste on. Okay, yeah, so this is the average. So can see actually 56 plus 58 divided by 2, you should be getting that number there, which is 57. So that is the sum, and then we've done the average. So now I want us to look at the max and mean function. Let's say you want to get the highest mark for the student here. You want to get who was the highest in this test 1. So for the highest, for the biggest number, we'll use a function called max. Okay, I like using this way, insert function, and then we look for the max function. Okay, max, click go. Yeah, this is max. This is its description here. Returns the largest value in a set of values. Ignores logical values and text. So it ignores text. So it only checks for numbers only. So the max function only checks for numbers only. So if I double click here, okay, so be careful, because now we want a maximum of from these numbers, but Microsoft Excel has inputted a formula like this. Now it has included even this average, yet we don't want to include this average in obtaining the maximum number or the largest number. So you have to make sure that you select the proper range, and you should also avoid doing this, because now if you notice this B4 plus B13, then B4 to B13 plus B4 to this number to B12. So now that this formula is wrong, so you just have to remove everything here first, and then click the first number, hold and press shift, press and hold shift, then you click B12 and then click OK. So the biggest number of them all here is supposed to be 98. So this is 98. Okay, and this one as well, equal sign. Okay, the lowest now. So the lowest we use, okay, you can click f of x here, insert function. For the lowest number, we'll use the function called mean. We'll use the function called mean. We'll search for it. This is mean. Then click OK. So I want a minimum number from this range up to Dumsani. Okay, then I click OK. So the lowest is supposed to be Keliwe with this number. So that's how we use these basic functions in Microsoft Excel. Okay, maybe let's look at another one. Let's say we want to include let's include say yearly test average. So we want to get the averages for the tests of this particular student. For example, test 1, test 2, want to skip this one, then test 3, test 4, and skip the mock, test 5, and test 6. So how do we actually do that one? Because we cannot just click type equal sign, okay, maybe f of x, and then search for average. Okay, when you search for average like this, then we click OK. So as you notice, Microsoft Excel has said that we want an average between B4 and J4, which is these cells, which is very wrong, because we don't want to include this average here, this column, and we also don't want to include this column, and we don't want to include this column as well. So how do you handle that one? So it's very easy. So you will just remove everything here and then click, sorry for that, then you will click the cell, test 1, a comma, test 2, another comma, test 3, a comma, test 4, comma, test 5, comma, test 6. Okay, no comma needed now, and then you click OK. So that will give me the average for specific cells in my spreadsheet. So if you see here, when I click maybe inside here, then it will show me that I have an average for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tests. So next time, in the next video, we will be looking at more complex functions, okay? Maybe, but before we continue with the functions, we'll look at, because this doesn't look neat, let's look at this one. This here that don't look neat, even this averages. We want to round this averages up to the nearest decimal places. So we'll look at the basics of maybe nesting a cell, nesting a function, putting a function in inside another function, so that we can sort these decimal places. So see you on the next video. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified as I upload more videos.